Welcome back as we take another medical turn. And with every new season comes seasonal hay fever. It seems to have hit hard this year, causing headaches, sinus pain, and a whole myriad of other lovely problems that come with it. And it can provide our family with relief. If we can find that one thing, we will definitely rely on it. And pediatrician and allergologist Professor Claudia Gray now joins us to discuss pain and fever prevalent during the change of season. Prof, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It seems like maybe an unreasonably high incidence of sinus issues at the moment. We've had such a hectic change of season. What is actually going on when we talk about sinusitis and why it can affect us so hectically? What is actually happening within our system?
Yeah, so the first thing to say is that the term sinus is thrown around quite loosely.
Yeah.
And people use it for anything involving their noses and their paranasal sinuses. But sinus can incorporate lots of different conditions. So it could be infective. The change of season brings a whole new bunch of viruses, and we can get colds and flus, or even a proper sinus infection. But sinus is also thrown around loosely for allergic rhinitis, which is allergies in the nose, which can also make you feel congested and itchy and sneezy and heavy pressured sinuses.
And can be quite debilitating. We know there's a lot of nerve connections. There's a lot going on in the face in this area. So when you get hit, it can be really, really kind of all-encompassing. So when we talk about sinus headaches and sinus pressure, what's the difference there? What's happening within the body?
Well, I don't think there's a huge difference. I think you're just describing some of the symptoms. So once again, it depends on the cause of the sinus. If it's allergies, often you have a clear runny nose, itching, sneezing, congestion or blockage of the nose, as well as a runny nose, which is usually clear. But if you have an infection, you often feel unwell and lethargic and have a bit of a fever and a sore throat, plus the sinus pain and pressure. But generally what you're describing is the feeling that the nose is blocked, you can't breathe properly, there's pressure next to the nose in the paranasal sinuses. And by the way, these frontal sinuses only develop at about the age of 10 years, so we don't really get that in children. But in adults, your sinusitis can also extend there.
You have that pressure up there. So I think more often than not, we can't fight this. It's obviously not a bacterial battle, but we need relief and we need the body to be strong enough to be able to do that fighting. Paracetamol seems to come into... I've got 2 young kids, been through the pregnancies with my wife. We lean on paracetamol so much. Why is it so effective in this space specifically?
Well, I think once again, it depends on the cause. So you have to look at the cause of the sinus, and sometimes that means you have to visit a doctor or have allergy tests, etc. If it's allergies, you're really looking at antihistamines and nasal sprays. If it's infection, you're looking at general symptom relief. As you mentioned, most of these infections are viruses, which aren't a quick cure. They have to ride their course, but you have to dampen down the symptoms. So nose sprays, paracetamol, painkillers. And I prefer really plain, pure medications. So my patients will know I'm not a big advocate for combination medications, because often there's one dose that's incorrect or one ingredient that has many side effects, such as drowsiness. So it's always benefits have to outweigh the risks. And that's why we like to use pure ingredients like pure antihistamines or pure paracetamol to relieve symptoms.
Why is the drowsiness such a common factor in that kind of the treatment? Because we often will have a combination of different... I think that's where paracetamol does come into its own, because you can use it with other things. But why is that drowsiness such a common factor in the medications that help in this space?
Yeah, I think often old-fashioned medications are used, and the older the medication, generally, the larger is the side effect profile. So we've got many new...
Like shotgun effect,
Yeah, absolutely. So your steroids, your old-fashioned antihistamines, they do have a shotgun effect, and then you get the side effects as well, because they act on many different receptors, whereas your purer medications, such as new generation antihistamines or paracetamol or ibuprofen, they act purely on certain receptors and don't tend to cause drowsiness. So drowsiness is a problem not only with a disease, because if you're sick, you feel lousy and drowsy. If you've got allergies, you might not sleep well because your nose has been blocked all night. And then if you take the wrong medication, which causes drowsiness, it's a very big combination. It's a double whammy. So
You must struggle with people diagnosing themselves, but we do know ourselves, and we know what sometimes just feeling a bit better or more empowered kind of helps us, even when it comes to taking the medicine. Some people struggle with pills. For me, I feel like an effervescent is going to be more effective because it just goes straight in and it's bubbling and it's doing its thing. But effectiveness does stem partially from how we feel and how we think about these things. There is a psychosomatic connection, but there are other options. You don't just have to take a tablet.
Absolutely, and I think in medicine, and you know, I'm coming also from a pediatric perspective, it's all about compliance. It's all about the patient taking the medication.
That's where the battle is won and lost.
Absolutely. You know, with children, I know with children, you can write up a list of medications, but if you don't take it, you ain't going to get anywhere.
Does it taste like strawberry?
So absolutely, it's great to have a variety of forms of medications. We're lucky, you know, some medications come in tablets and capsules and effervescents and syrups and even suppositories. So I think also as healthcare providers, we have to look at the practicalities and say, what would you tend to take most or feel most effective with or would comply with the best? And that's for adults and children alike. So it's good to have a variety of things to be familiar with and to have available so that you can choose the right form of medication for the right person.
Empowering parents, and it does make all of the difference. If you've had a screaming child in a doctor's room trying to work through this, you understand, you get it. Prof, thank you so much. I love this notion of knowing the pieces on the board. Keep it simple, understand what's going in, and understand how the body is going to receive it. Having the right medication, and most importantly, the right advice. That person in your corner will help you to feel so much better in a much quicker time frame. That's the bottom line. We just want to start there. So PANADO is great for fast pain and fever relief when you need it most, to help your body do the fighting that it needs to do.
Using PANADO Pediatric Syrup 5 ml sachets. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever, anytime, anywhere.